Imagine a world where sunlight has never touched the ground. A place where the pressure is enough to crush a human lung in seconds, and the temperature hovers just above freezing. This isn't another planet, it's the midnight zone of our own ocean. 95% of our oceans remain unexplored. In the vast, silent darkness of the bathypelagic zone, 2,000 meters below the surface, nature operates by a different set of rules. Here, sunlight is a myth, and survival is a calculated gamble. But even in this void, there is a king of the shadows. A creature so specialized that it looks like a glitch in the evolutionary matrix. It's called the ViperFish. And despite decades of research, scientists are still struggling to explain how this living needle survives in conditions that should theoretically be impossible for a vertebrate. And today, we're going all the way down. For most of human history, the deep sea was a complete mystery. Ancient sailors believed that sea monsters lurked in the abyss. And honestly, they weren't entirely wrong. It wasn't until the late 1800s, during the HMS Challenger expedition from 1872 to 1876, that scientists first began systematically dragging nets into the deep sea. What they found shocked them. Creatures without eyes. Fish that produced their own light. Things that looked like they belonged in a nightmare. The viperfish, Coleode sylvani, was first formally described in 1801 by German naturalist Marcus Eliezer Bloch. But for more than a century, humans have only seen them dead, broken, rotting, dragged into nets from thousands of meters below. It wasn't until modern submarines and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, in the late 20th century that we finally started seeing viperfish as if they were actually alive. And what we found drove the dead specimens crazy. Let's talk about what this thing actually looks like. Because the anatomy of the viperfish is one of the most evolutionary designed in the entire animal kingdom. Viperfish typically grow to between 30 and 60 centimeters, about the length of your arm. Small, right? Don't let that fool you. Its most famous feature, fangs. The viperfish has the largest teeth in relation to its body size of any fish on Earth. These curved, transparent, needle-like teeth are so long, they curve back from the fish's own eyes. It can't close its mouth. There's no physical room. Now here's the part that scientists find deeply strange. How does it swallow anything with teeth that big? The answer, the entire front of its skull is tilted backwards. The head literally rotates on a modified vertebral joint, opening a gap wide enough to take prey about half its own size. But this is where it gets weird. The viperfish has a spine in its neck that acts as a shock absorber, a biological crumple zone, to handle the impact of high-speed attacks. Its stomach is also remarkably distended. Scientists have found viperfish with prey inside them that weighed more than the fish ate. And that long, thin body? It has a specialized lateral line system, thousands of tiny sensory cells that can detect pressure waves in moving water. In complete darkness, at depths of 200 to 5,000 meters, it can sense you before you move. Now we come to the part that really baffles scientists. The viperfish glows. Along its belly, it has hundreds of tiny light-producing organs called photophores. These produce bioluminescent light, cool light, created by chemical reactions inside living cells. No heat. Just pure, controlled light in the darkest place on Earth. But here's a question that researchers have been wrestling with for decades. Why? The first theory, camouflage. In the deep sea, the only light comes from above, as a faint trunk from the surface. An animal swimming below you will appear as a dark silhouette against this glow. The bioluminescent belly may help the viperfish match this faint background light, effectively making it invisible from below. Scientists call it counterillumination. The second theory, attraction. The photophore on its dorsal fin spine, a single, long, glowing filament, may act as a lure. Like the anglerfish's famous light, the viperfish can dangle its spine in the water, drawing in curious prey. The third theory, communication. Some researchers believe the light patterns may be a form of signaling to other viperfish, for mating, for territorial warnings. Here's the tricky part, we don't know which theory is correct. All three could be true. And the exact mechanism, how the viperfish controls the timing, intensity, and pattern of its light, is still not fully understood. We know it happens. We just don't fully know how. The viperfish doesn't just sit and wait in the dark. Every single day, it embarks on one of the most extraordinary journeys in the natural world, and hardly anyone knows it's happening. It's called the diel vertical migration. During the day, the viperfish retreats to depths of 1,000 to 5,000 meters, where the pressure is crushing, the temperature is near freezing, and there's no light at all. But at night, it rises. It climbs hundreds, sometimes thousands of meters toward the surface, entering the mesopelagic zone, the twilight zone, to hunt for prey. Small fish, crustaceans, crabs, whatever it can ambush. And then descends again before dawn. Think about it. This creature, built for burrowing, circles the abyss every single night, possibly 2,000 meters. Scientists believe that this migration is linked to tracking prey, avoiding larger predators that hunt by sight in shallow waters, and conserving energy by resting at cooler depths where metabolism slows. But the energetic cost of this migration is staggering. Researchers calculate that the ViperFish expends a lot of resources on this daily journey. Which raises the question of how it survives for days, sometimes weeks, between successful hunts. The answer: it can't always eat. The viperfish's metabolism is thought to be very slow, and it can go up to 2 weeks without eating. In one of the harshest environments on Earth, it has evolved patience as a survival strategy. There's something humbling here. We've sent humans to the moon. We've mapped the surface of Mars in higher resolution than parts of our seafloor. We've sequenced entire genomes. And yet, the viperfish remains deeply mysterious. We've never successfully kept one alive in captivity. Every specimen brought to the surface, even gently, dies from pressure changes, temperature changes, or the stress of being captured. We can't study live viperfish in the lab. Every observation we have comes from the precious few minutes captured on camera by an ROV thousands of meters down. We don't know exactly how it reproduces. We found egg masses thought to belong to viperfish, but we haven't directly observed their mating behavior. We don't know for sure how old they are. Estimates range from a few years to possibly 30 to 40 years, but we have no reliable way to estimate their lifespan. We don't know their population size. The deep ocean covers 60% of the Earth's surface. Viperfish are thought to be relatively abundant, but relatively abundant in a place where they are inaccessible is practically meaningless. And that bioluminescent control system, still being studied. How does a fish with a brain that fits inside a walnut, in complete darkness, precisely manage hundreds of individual light organs in real time? Every answer to a question opens up 3 more. The deep ocean covers more land area than all of Earth's land masses combined. And we've explored less than 20% of it. Viperfish aren't just one fish, it's a reminder of how much we still don't know about our planet. Viperfish have been there for millions of years. Long before humans walked the Earth. Long before the first dinosaurs. The deep sea has been cold, dark, and crushing, and the ancestors of these creatures have been hunting in that darkness since before we had a word for darkness. We like to think that we live in an age where there are no more mysteries. Where satellites see everything and algorithms map everything. But drop below 200 meters, and you're in a world that operates on completely different principles. A world that is lit by its own creatures, driven by pressures that crush steel, and filled with animals so alien they still defy our full comprehension. The viperfish reminds us, the greatest frontier on Earth is not outer space. It's right here. 4 kilometers below the surface of our own ocean. And it has teeth. If you want to go deeper, into the strange ecosystems of anglerfish, bioluminescent squid, or hydrothermal vents, hit subscribe. There's too much darkness to explore. See you in the deep.